We're on episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Some familiar faces have returned, so let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your thoughts on episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And as this is a spoiler review, feel free to spoil away down below in the comments section. No need for spoiler warnings. This is the spoiler warning, what I'm saying right now. As we go into this will be a little bit different from my normal week-to-week Marvel Disney Plus reviews, as I'm going to keep it shorter than normal and not go into quite as much detail. One, because I don't feel great today, and two, because it's Good Friday, so I'm trying to spend lots of time with family, not editing videos. With that said, let's get started with the good. And the coolest thing about this episode was just seeing familiar faces return, seeing where they're at, what they've been up to, and how that has all played out. Of course, the big gigantic standout would be Baron Zemo, who Bucky decides to break out of prison without even consulting Sam. He kind of does it, starts floating the idea by Sam, only to reveal, I've actually already broken him out and he's right over there, which is just a nice little touch. And that all along the way, Zemo is messing with them. He's still playing mind games, but in the moment, he's helping them. So far as we've gone along this little path, it seems, at least superficially, like they have the shared value set of not wanting super soldier serum out there. Therefore, he's working with them. He has some connections. He knows some things. And as we learn here, he actually has quite a few resources because he's a baron. Therefore, he's a very rich person, which is a nice little twist, so he can fly them all around while they're breaking an enormous number of laws. And because he is someone that you can't trust whatever he says, you don't really know what he's up to, just always adds a nice dynamic into every situation where you're like, is he about to make a run for it? Or is he walking them into a trap? Every situation, you're kind of on the edge of your seat, not knowing what he's up to, because he is that sort of conniving mastermind that's always thinking several steps ahead. But thus far, he's just been working with them. And we even have the situation where he seems like he's escaping, getting away, but then he puts his mask on when the container section, puts his mask on, starts taking guys out, finds a car, and he's like, hey guys, jump in the car, let's get on out of here. And so just a nice little touch. And I didn't have any theories really going into this show. I wasn't guessing as to how it would play out. So I just essentially assumed that he was going to be portrayed as just a direct, straight up villain that was out there causing trouble and maybe the one guiding the Flag Smashers or something like that. And that's maybe what a twist reveal will show. But thus far, I mean, they're using him kind of like Loki's used in a bunch of the Thor movies, where he's the bad guy that's now helping that you can't really trust. They're kind of using him in that Loki sort of vibe. So a nice little touch. It's great to see him again. Daniel Brühl's a lot of fun in this role. And Baron Zemo is one of those characters that, because the central conflict of Captain America's Civil War, of the Avengers being torn apart and their competing ideologies, was so compelling in and of itself, sometimes Baron Zemo can feel like a side character, or kind of this guy that's, you don't give him as much credit as maybe he probably deserves. And so it's nice to see him getting this other side, getting to reappear, maybe earn some trust again, or not earn trust, but get used a little bit more to build his reputation as one of the great MCU characters. Of course, the other person that showed up was Sharon Carter. They go to their one of their Skull Island pirate city, and it turns out she's been hanging out there for a long time. And it's an interesting detail that she's still on the run. There's reasons why Captain and Bucky and Sam ended up getting cleared eventually, in the way things played out. They were no longer on the run, but that didn't play out for her. And so she has been on the run this whole time, and it looks like it's led her to some not so great places. And so she is very aggressive, non-trusting. She's not really the person that we saw before. Very disillusioned about a lot of things, a very cynical worldview about superheroes and their hypocrisy. There's a very big change of pace for her. It was interesting to see that. Also, as an episode, I think this is the one that just had the most action in it. The other episodes had bigger set pieces, whether you're talking about jumping out of planes or the truck fight, were bigger sequences. I think this is the one that just had the most action in it and saw several different people in different ways getting in on the action, whether, of course, Bucky getting in a bar fight, Sharon fighting people in the streets, Daniel Brühl, Baron Zemo fighting guys in the mask. Just a nice little thing of seeing him kind of fully realizing the Baron Zemo mantle. Some nice little touches there. It kind of built out the mythology of kind of what's kind of going on here, of even kind of, okay, how do all these pieces fit together, of why do these people over here have super soldier serum? How does that tie back to Isaiah from last week and the testing that was going on? And we kind of leads us to this scientist that was working kind of with Hydra to recreate it. And then the blip kind of set that back, and just some interesting kind of things taking place of all of what's going on and seeing the pieces come together of what is the story, who's the real villains, and raising a bunch of questions. The big one being who's the power broker, and is it Sharon Carter? Has she turned evil? So a lot of things about it that I thought were really solid, and we spent some time with our flag smashers, showing them in a much more sympathetic perspective that they're coming out of this place where they were displaced. They're put in these tents. People are dying of tuberculosis. They desperately want to save someone, and that they're unable to. They can't get the resource to the person. And you start to see what's driving them to what they're doing. Why are they stealing all this stuff? They have, in a certain sense, pure motives. They're trying to do something to help people, but at the same time, in the final moments, lead flag smasher lady blows people up, and someone's like, hey, there were people, and she's like, right, that's what they set this up. That's what's going to happen. That's the rules that they set. So they're ruthless. They are killing people. They are doing bad things, but there's a nobility in a certain sense in what they're trying to do, but they're going about it in a villainous and evil way. And then the episode did end on a nice little surprise with Bucky realizing something's afoot, someone's watching them, so he starts walking around, and he's picking up the little tech with the little balls, and you're like, wait a minute, that looks a little bit familiar. Then he walks down an alleyway, and he's like, hey, I know you're here. And then a Wakandan is there, tracking down Zemo. It's like, nice little cliffhanger. Makes me go, okay, all right, where exactly is all of this going? This could get interesting. So there's a number of things here that I really dug, but I think the episode left me with a number of frustrations as well. So that'll bring us to the bad. And the big thing here is that we're now halfway through the season. It's only 6 episodes. 3 of them are down, and it doesn't felt like we've kicked into high gear yet. The stakes haven't really gone up. The tension isn't building. It's just kind of like, yeah, we're still kind of investigation mode. We're going to these cities, trying to pick it out. Oh, we don't have any leads? Well, I guess we got to break Zemo out. And it just kind of, break him out. Super easy. Just kind of snap him out of there, go on the mission, and kind of flew through a whole bunch of plot points. And there's people trying to track them down, but we can get out of here too. Someone came to save the day. And so it doesn't feel serious yet. It doesn't feel like I'm just invested in this big, scary narrative of like, how are we going to figure this out? If our heroes don't crack the code soon enough, oh no, fill in the blank is going to happen. We're not there yet. They're just like, oh, well, it's bad that there's super soldier serum out there. Which that is a bad thing, but there's not a danger to it. You don't have this immediate sense of they're going to do this horrible thing if we can't stop them in time. And so, what did we very quickly start to realize but when we got around the halfway point of WandaVision, the whole city's been taken captive. We don't know why. We don't know who's in control, but Wanda knew some things more than she was saying. People are in pain. Like we'd figured out, oh man, what is this mess and how are we going to get out of it? And here it just doesn't feel like that yet. We're just taking our time, trying to track some stuff down. And whenever something gets in the way, you just don't feel that sense of danger like, man, how are they going to overcome this? Now, someone will show up to save the day. Something else will kind of happen, move them right along. And it just feels like there should be more happening, more danger, more stakes by this point in time in the season, considering that it is only 6 episodes long. We are halfway through it. So even if you think about it as a 4-hour-long movie, there's a lot they could have done to make me feel the danger of this all at this point in time. So, like, I still enjoy the episodes week to week. I like building out the mythology of the world of the MCU and what happened during and after the blip and how does it tie to all these characters in the history. Like, I enjoy all that stuff. There's cool action. I enjoy these characters. I like seeing Sharon Carter, Baron Zemo coming back. All that stuff is cool. But the central plot line, I think that's where it feels like they need to go into high gears. Something needs to happen that makes you feel, whoa, this is bad. Oh man, how's this going to play out? And just that tension is missing. Like, you have tension in the banter between characters. There's interpersonal tension because of their complicated histories. There's not tension in the story in a meaningful way. And I really hope next week something happens that makes it like you feel that danger. And I like, one of the reasons I was very excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that I really like spy espionage shows. And one of the things they tend to do is you have the first couple episodes are kind of laid back where you see the lead characters in their normal life. And then as things get going, you just feel the tension winding tighter and tighter. And it's like, how are they going to get out of this? And it just keeps narrowing in on them and more people are tracking them down. And you don't feel that yet on this show. And it hasn't been replaced with something else that's equally intriguing. So I really hope next week something happens that kind of raises the stakes, raises the tension, the conflict that makes the story have that extra oomph to it that makes you feel like, man, they have got to stop these bad guys very quickly or else fill in the blank will happen. So it's a little bit frustrating and it just kind of makes the show have a bit of a, yeah, okay, yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, it's fun to see these characters. That was a cool action sequence. It's nice to learn some stuff, but it doesn't make that impression on you the way it probably should thus far because the story, I don't think, has the kick to it yet. Hopefully that will resolve soon. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Am I being too hard on it? Did you just love this episode? Do you think it's the slow build is what's going to make it work and pay off at the end? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, check out that playlist right over there with my other Falcon and the Winter Soldier videos. Thank you so much for watching and keep talking movies, Marvel, and TV too much.